Problem is you, just like it was me in the beginning of my own career. And nobody likes to hear that, and no one certainly wants to admit it. And some of my students that have failed, they hate, that's what I say. Oh, that's wrong. You're just a terrible teacher. Well, I'm not a perfect teacher, and I don't think I'm the best teacher, but I don't lie to you. I tell you the truth. I tell you how to fix it in my best opinion, the most heartfelt, well-intended instructions. That's what I try to give, because it would be horrible for me to pretend that everybody could walk into this and do well and not have any hardships. And I've never painted that picture for anyone. It's hard as shit. It is so hard, only because you are a formidable adversary. Now, if you take all that toxic shit out of your personal life, the way you think about things and people and relationships and how everybody else is supposed to see you, take all that shit and throw it out. Don't give a shit about none of that stuff. Oh, but I'm not wearing the latest threads. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? But I'm not driving the... Who gives a shit? I can't afford to go eat. Who gives a shit? That's all stupid stuff. That ain't putting money in your pocket. That's not putting bread in the bank. That's not helping your family. That's not providing legacy wealth. That's a right now bullshit worry. If you take the energy that you place in worrying about stupid shit and people that don't matter, and you apply it to yourself and how you can build yourself up so that way you could be useful to yourself and your friends and family that are worth being around. Yes, I said that, because there are family members that you shouldn't have in your small circle. And when I cut those out of my life too, man, happiness. Because I'm gonna tell you something, when you start making lots of money, your fucking family does not like that. They don't like that. They're gonna look at you and say, you know what? This motherfucker here, I never noticed this bitch has an ego problem. Look at him. He's buying these cars. Now, I didn't drive my car over to their house. I didn't say, this is how much I pay for my car. They just found out I bought these cars. This motherfucker, look at him. Now, these are my family. I'm a young guy. I'm trying to do what makes me happy as a young man. And I had family members literally get a case of the ass because I was enjoying what I was able to do. Your friends, don't be surprised if they don't like the fact that you're successful. And they're going to be spiteful because they are too fucking lazy to do the same things that you're willing to give yourself a chance to work and grind through. Success is not something that falls in your lap. You got to work for it. And that means that you got to take your attention away from stupid, silly shit and stupid, silly people and apply it to hard work and be diligent about it and show up every day. And when you do that, results will come. And you're going to find out who your real friends and family are. Because the ones that really love you, they're going to say, you know what? If anybody was going to do it, it was going to be you. And I'm so proud. Look what you've been able to accomplish. That's amazing. Can you show me what you did? Not, look at you, motherfucker. You think you're better than me? Hey, if you got all that money, why don't you give me some? I heard more of the latter than the first. To be honest with you, I'm going to tell you something. Not one person, not one family member ever, not one family member ever said, congratulations, you deserve it. You worked hard for this. It was not given to you. You did all the things to get to this point. Well done. I'm proud of you. Not one of my family members did that. Not one of them. And I handed out and I bought pool liners and put new roofs on their fucking house, paid for their fucking vacations, paid for their fucking kids' clothes and fucking shoes, paid their utility bills, put food in their fucking house. Ain't never said anything positive. So why would you expect any of your friends and family to do the same for you? If they do, wonderful. They're good humans. But don't go into this expecting everybody else to say, you know what? Look at what you've done. You should be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. Fuck that. I didn't need that. And people that are successful, they don't fucking need it. They don't need that. Let me tell you something. I wanted and I would give anything to hear my grandparents tell me that. But because I can't do that, to answer your question, the lady that was saying, what's my deep-rooted, driven passion? I've always done things with the expectation that I could one day hear my grandfather and my grandmother tell me, I'm proud of you. Those two people were my real mother and father. And I miss them dearly. And I wish they could see who I am today. I wish they could see who I try to be. I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes and I'm not eloquent in the way I talk. Sometimes I use a little too much blue collar language, and it's not something I sit down and script. Obviously, this is off the cuff. Every time I'm live like this, there's no script. There's no stuttering. There's no pausing. I'm not missing my lines. Okay, I'm talking right from the heart. Sometimes it's going to be bitter. Sometimes it'll be funny and sweet, and sometimes it'll be good medicine. But I wish I could hear them tell me, but I can't. But everything that I do in my life, I do with that generally is the first thing. Now, everything in my life I try to do that would be pleasing to God. And I fail miserably a lot with that. And that's life, folks. I mean, we're all messing up every day. I ask for forgiveness and I try to do the best I can to, keep pressing on. But if you take toxic things in your personal life or hurtful things that other people do, or if they don't give you your accolades and say, hey, look how well you did this. Some of you might take that like I did as a younger man, because when my uncle sat down with me when I was living with him paying room board and I was building up money in my account, I was excited and I said, look what I've done here, Uncle Stan. And he was like, is this real? I was like, yeah. And I showed him broker statement after broker statement after broker statement. He was like, and I watched him sit back in his sofa and I'm waiting. My Uncle Stan's going to tell me, good job. No. That's not what this motherfucker said. No, that's not what he said at all. This is what he says. When we let you move in, the idea was for you to get on your feet so you can get out and get your own place, not sit around and get fucking rich. What? Like, that's the moment where you hear that record scratch where it's like nice music's playing. Like, what the fuck just happened here? That was that moment. And honestly, like, I wanted to freaking cry. I'm like, what? Like, I'm waiting for the moment. I'm waiting. My grandparents are gone. They're passed away. And I'm looking to this man as like a father figure, and he's gracious enough to let me stay in his home. And I'm showing him like, look, you told me about this shit when I was 15, 16 years old. And I didn't want to do anything with it. Now here I am. I'm fucking making money. And you tell me that? That's the fucking shit. That's the fucking first thing that you reach for out of your fucking mind. That's the thing that you want to tell me? Oh, man, I had such a range of mixed emotions from rage to it was everywhere. And I watched him. And now, older, as a man of 50 years old, I can tell you really what he was experiencing was envy. I saw right into his soul that night. This is the same man in 1983 made money in sugar, bought himself a condominium in Ocean City. Not that that's a big deal, back then it was. But then he never was able to make money after that. And he refused to learn from me. If I sat down with him, he would try to do the opposite of whatever the hell I was doing. And one day I said to him, I said, Uncle Stan, if I tell you I'm buying soybeans tomorrow, why the fuck are you trying to short it? But I'm trying to do everything on my own. That's not on your own. You're trying to be contrarian. And I had students in my first year, 2016 group, that literally came in doing that shit and then complained to me 6 months, 8 months, a year later. I saw what the fuck's going on. It doesn't work. What are you doing? Well, I'm doing this and doing this. I said, okay, well, that's everything opposite to what I'm doing. What are you thinking? Like, that's insanity. You're trying to get a different result, doing the same shit over and over again. Well, my uncle that night says to me, yeah, you were not supposed to be getting rich here. And I'm just like, Uncle Stan, I wasn't expecting you to say that to me. He goes, well, what the hell do you expect me to say? Like, what did you think I was going to say? And I was like, good job. Like, wow, can you show me how you did it? Like, that's what I'm here to do. Like, I'm sitting down showing you, like, you're fucking around trying to be a stockbroker and you're not making any fucking money. J.W. Gant, that's the bullshit he was doing. They were trying to push this fucking stupid ass stock. It was a boiler room bullshit, okay? Out in Owens Mills, he's fucking trying to do something. He's not a salesman, and I love him, but I'm being honest because, like I said, I don't sugarcoat shit. He literally was the worst fucking salesman in the world because he can't sell anything. He doesn't believe in anything. You have to believe in it. Like, you have to believe it. If you can't believe it, if it's not real to you, how the hell are you going to sell it to anybody else? My life, my creations, these concepts, I'm not tired. I got to check my battery and see if I still got some fucking life here because I'm ready to still talk because I'm passionate because this is my whole life. I know this shit works. And other people around the world now know it works. They ain't believing none of the bullshit. But my uncle, my fucking uncle says to me, you ain't supposed to be doing what you're doing, basically. How the fuck dare you? How dare you do this in my house? Like I was fucking growing fucking weed and, you know, processing cocaine in this fucking house. Like that's how I felt. Like I was doing something illegal, you know? So I said to him, I said, well, look, you know, this is not what I wanted to talk to you about like this. Like I wanted to show you what I was doing so that way you can do it too. And the only thing he was interested in is when I was moving out. So, okay, no problem. I got myself an apartment, moved out over to Carroll Island, which was a scary feeling for me because I've never lived on my own prior to that. And it's just, the isolation initially was too much. And I started losing money because I didn't like the feeling of being by myself. Like I felt anxious and anxiety, you know, would kick in. And there was no reason for me to be afraid of anything. It's just I was thrust into living like an adult when I was basically a student and a hospice nurse for my grandmother. Like that was my whole life. So it was a weird adjustment. And I took that feeling of fearing being alone and being isolated because I had always been around my family, but I would always isolate myself. Like they would all be in another room and I would be in a different room because I wasn't in sports. I wasn't in all the bullshit. I didn't like them smoking. I would try to hide from the cigarette smoke. I'd be on the floor sitting down with my shirt over my nose, trying to keep myself from breathing the secondhand smoke. That's what it was like growing up, childlike ICT. But I didn't come from money. I didn't come from anything silver spoon, none of that shit. And my uncle, same way. And he basically manifested envy, jealousy, and fucking rage. And it was so overwhelming for him. I don't think he understood the gravity of how he presented it to me. Like in his mind, he probably was just thinking to himself. No, it came out of his mouth. And he sat back and like he was just like, Like he lost everything he owned at the casino table on one roulette spin. That was what it looked like. That's what it sounded like when he sighed and all the oxygen left his body and his chest heaved up and then emptied himself. I remember looking to the right, like, this motherfucker's in my house doing this and I can't do it. I wasn't successful. That's how I know what it was now. Because we talked later on. Years later, he told me, he goes, when you told me that and showed me those broker statements, I was jealous. Like, why couldn't I do that? You know, I did that younger. I introduced you to it. Here he is. He's shitting on my parade here. Okay. And I'm feeling generous. Like, I'm going to try to teach him how to do this stuff. No. He ain't having any parts of that. He wants to tell me that this is absolutely the worst thing I could have ever done. And that weighed on me psychologically. When I moved out 3 weeks later, in my apartment by myself, waiting for the rest of my furniture, because I only had one couch. No, it wasn't even a couch, it was a love seat. I'm thinking to myself, man, like I felt like I was kicked out of my parents' house because they caught me doing something illegal in their home and they disowned me. And because I felt that way, I went into the marketplace and started doing what? Everything I've talked about tonight. I wanted that feeling of isolation, loneliness, anxiety to go away and be replaced with what? That spirit of invincibility, like, fuck you, motherfucker. Who the fuck do I need? I don't need you. That's what I wanted. But because I was doing it with the inspiration of trying to escape a bad feeling, not taking a sound logical trade, that's not what I was doing. That wasn't even in the equation. It was, I'm just going to go in here and push this button, do 10 contracts of Chicago Board of Traded wheat, and we'll see what happens. Well, we saw what happened. We lost fucking money. Okay, that's what we lost. And I felt worse. And it would do more of the same things I talked about and described tonight. I needed that feeling to go away. So I would trade bigger, and this time, no stop loss. Because I need to be right, and I'm not going to have anything tell me I'm not right, because I'm so confident I'm right. I'm not even going to use a stop loss, because therefore, if I was even thinking less than 100% that I'm going to be correct, then I would need to stop. But because I know I'm going to beat the shit out of this market, I'm not going to use a stop loss, because then I know I'm a barbarian. I went out there and I conquered. And then I can basically dismiss this negative feeling I'm putting myself through. Instead of just saying, you know what? My head's not right. Close the charts. Let me go get out of the house and do something other than this. That's how you fix it. But I didn't do that. I stayed in isolation. I didn't let anybody come over and visit. I didn't want anybody to come over and visit because I was afraid they would read me and see what I've done to my account. Sound familiar? Yeah. These are those things that real mentors, real traders that live this shit, they're never going to talk about it because they're going to be afraid you're going to look down on them. They're going to lose their superhuman, superhero characteristics that you think that they deserve. They don't. I don't deserve it. I'm a human being. I'm not AI. I have done some stupid shit coming up as a trader. And you're doing the same silly shit. Everybody does it. Unfortunately, most people don't learn to stop it and replace it with the correct things. Sometimes they don't even realize what they're doing is the root cause because they are learning from people that are not genuine. They've never found success. So how can you be successful if you're learning from somebody that's not successful? You can't. You cannot be trained how to succeed in something if the person you're learning from doesn't understand or have the ability to be proficient in identifying what success is. How's it obtainable? What do you have to do and what do you have to make sure you don't do? Refrain from this, do this. You have to have somebody that knows what they're doing. And I would love to sit down and listen to anybody in any field that has put themselves through the level of pain and suffering that I've done myself in trading, because That's somebody that knows what's going on. They know all the angles of how you're going to wreck yourself. They know how to deal with it. They know it's normal, and they know there's a way through it. So if you felt any of those things, and maybe you've wrecked yourself in the recent weeks, or maybe even last week, blew your account, lost your funded account, whatever. Last week would have been a good week for it. A lot of volatility, a lot of big news. That's what they're designed to do. Blow your account. They know you're going to get crazy and chase these big price swings. And they hand it to you. Your ass. That's what they're handing it. But you can't do these things and expect to be long-term and successful. You won't be around long enough.